Before I begin, this house was built studs up from 2008, so it's pretty new, and no previous owner I know of died. It is a spacious 4-bedroom house. My question is, why did these series of incidents happen? Nothing ever happened in our new house until this one incident. Any insights are helpful. It all started after a car accident. I still remember I hit a big truck that day, and I had my 2 children with me. I was very fortunate nothing had happened to us, and let the trucker let it go. On the way home, I kind of felt dazed, probably from the car incident. When we got home, I opened the door, and that's when it began. Right when the front door opened, I heard a distinct, clear, "Why, thank you." I'm not going to lie, I thought maybe I hurt my head from the crash and was hearing things. But right before I even uttered a word, my then 5-year-old son says, "Mommy, did you hear that? Someone said, 'Why, thank you.'" I was so relieved to know it wasn't in my head, but not so relieved knowing no one was home. After that first incident, a series of strange incidents transpired. We started hearing someone playing a piano every night around 8 p.m., and it sounded like it was coming from the attic. But there's no stairway to the attic. You need a ladder. We also hear knocking on the walls every day. My husband said it might be a rat stuck in between the walls or something, so I decided one day I would knock on the wall 2 times. And that's when my daughter and I freaked out, because it knocked back 2 times. Right when that happened, my daughter and I walked out the nursery, and that's when an ornament came rolling out of the nursery after us. Needless to say, we stayed out of there the rest of the day. Not soon after, my daughter started seeing a white cat in our house every day. She would ask me why the white cat always comes and leaves and comes back again. And then my son would see a little girl petting our dog once in a while. But the one incident that really scared us all was when my father-in-law came over one day. We have a toaster that also has an egg maker. Well, when my father-in-law walks by, the egg maker looked as if it was thrown at my father-in-law and fell to the floor. We all looked in disbelief, and he came to conclude maybe when he walked by, it caused a vibration for it to bounce off. After that, many series of incidents continued happening. But the scariest thing we saw was when we saw doppelgangers of each other. I remember putting my son to sleep, and he was sleeping on my lap. As he drifted off sleeping, I looked up and saw my son sitting in a corner with a grin. I was speechless, because how can that be when he is sleeping on my lap? A few days later, my son was in the living room talking to someone. When I asked who he's talking to, his jaw just dropped. He said he was talking to his sister, but how come his sister was next to me instead? The last incident was when my husband saw someone sitting on the living room floor, and to his surprise, he realized he was staring at himself. This was the last incident that led us to calling the pastor. The pastor and a few other people came and blessed the whole house. After that, we no longer saw anything. However, we never understood how we lived at the house for almost a year and nothing happened until the car accident. Is there a connection? If anyone has some insights, I would be grateful.